Operations were supposed to be automated by now, but somehow things have gotten worse. Alerts are overwhelming. Tools are harder to connect. Security teams are dying. Enter Torq, using AI to hyper-automate detection and response, handling 95% of alerts autonomously, with AI agents helping your experts tackle the real threats. So you go from this to this. Don't die, get Torq!
We are running out of time. Where's Don? Like, what the
I don't know, dude. Like, I thought, did we get to the right day? Are we here the right day?
Yes.
Shoot, guys, I am so sorry. I'm running late. Trevor from Torq here, live. Hi, George, bare knuckles. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Am I right? First off, it is so great to be able to interview you guys, and I feel
We're here to interview Don. Like, we are here to do the interviewing.
I don't think that's the case.
Like, for real, we're like running
Why
out
am
of
I
time.
holding this?
So this one says, Trevor, to George, to my best friend. Hold on. Being an influencer, a linked influencer myself, I feel just like very honored to be surrounded by fellow influencers.
What are you talking about, bro? I have a freaking job.
Yeah, no,
I'm a big fan of you guys, and I love you guys a lot. And you guys are my best friends, and I'm
Don.
just
Okay,
I feel
cool.
very
Dude,
Cool,
all
right
right,
on,
we're
let's
gonna
go.
go
feel very
talk, we're gonna
honored
talk to Don.
to be
All right, bro,
around.
man. See ya.
I think that went really well. I think that was all right. I think I did a good job. Oh. Okay. Well, this is Trevor from Torq TV signing off. Thanks, George and George, for being incredible human beings on Torq TV. I love you.
Sorry about that, guys. Just want to do the interview?
Yeah, let's go.
It's good. All right, let's get it done.
What's up?
Yeah, good to be here. So we'll just do the standard intro, right? Bare knuckles and brass tacks. I'm George K on the vendor side,
I'm George A, Chief Information Security Officer.
and we are here at RSA 2025 with the Chief Menace Officer of Torq, Don Jeter.
Chief Meme, yeah. Chief Meme Officer Don with Torq here in front of this massive Gravedigger monster truck.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Official sponsor, Monster Jam Torq.
Well, Don, we wanted to have this conversation because we look all around, there's AI, all the things. And when it comes to marketing, there's also a lot of downward pressure to teams to generate using AI. This cat sent me some weird ass Instagram ad for a AI CMO that would like script the videos, make the videos, A/B test them, all that. But you have invested in real stuff, you know? So just want to get your take on how do brands stand out if there's all this pressure to just use AI to cheapen the production?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think there's like two things that are happening right now, right? Everybody's getting pressure to how, leverage AI to get more efficient, get more content out. And then at the same time, marketers are pressured to just measure everything. And I think we've kind of measured ourselves to death. Optimize, tweak, A/B test, and to a point where we've lost creativity. And in a sea of I don't know how many booths are, 400 or 500 booths here. Everybody's, fighting for attention, and it's really hard to figure out what's going to get attention if you're looking at, all the trends of the past and thinking too much about measurement. We go off of gut and we know our audience, and when we kind of came up with this, we thought it was cool right away. And I think typically when we're excited, it works. Our audience gets excited, our employees get excited. And I think a lot of that truly is gut and instinctual.
Oh, nice.
So I asked then, how do you take a startup in a market that's absolutely saturated with random point solution startups, and you took it and you built a movement out of it, right? You took it beyond just the product. And how do you get your team, your backers to actually line up and go with you and turn that thing into something cool?
Man, I think that's the $1 million question, truly, because first of all, I'll preface it with, you really can't do this without trust, right? You can't do this stuff without trust from your leadership team, your board, the employees. And so we spend a lot of time building trust with our stakeholders, and that trust comes when the pipeline comes.
Yeah.
And so you can't go from hey, we're just going to, start with this. You have
to start with monster.
It didn't start with the monster truck. It started by creating that internal movement and saying, hey, here's our beliefs. This is what we believe. We believe that SOAR is dead. We're going to tell that story with a really bold visual identity. We're going to tell that story with a really, confident tone. And that comes from, the market research and talking to customers and listening. That's another thing that builds trust, right? When you listen. And so when we started saying SOAR is dead, we got such a visceral reaction from our prospects and customers. We're like, we're on to something here. And then it kind of turned into this movement because enough people said, yeah, I've had that experience, right? My legacy SOAR is old, it's complex, it's time consuming, it's costly, it requires a lot of expertise, and we want to move on. And so it happened very naturally, but it came from listening and building trust.
Yeah. So I brought up like the lower costs of production in the like AI pressure, but there's also how you stand out and what you're investing in terms of like the customer experience. And so I think it's tempting to say like, oh, now there's all this AI pressure. But if you think about early web stuff, companies started bending towards SEO, just like writing stuff with keywords to show up in search. Then it was like social referral traffic. So there's always been kind of this tilt towards the algorithm. And now even on like LinkedIn, you'll see things are like written in a certain way, or they're even displayed in a certain way, or people jumping on whatever the latest Chat GPT action figure trend is. So like one, I guess, how do you kind of avoid that inertia to just get drawn in there? And then like, how do you stand out if everyone is trying to optimize for algorithm? Like, how are you trying to, I guess you're culture jamming,
Yeah, I think, and Forbes said this, right? Shout out to Forbes. Torq has done a unique job of blending cultural relevance with product innovation. And I think, again, I think we, to your point, like the SEO, writing for SEO, thinking about the algorithm when you're making content, we really think about it from a very human perspective on what is going to get attention, what's going to stop you from scrolling, and break through all this noise. Because there's no, this is the noisiest place right now in tech, is right here on the RSA floor. And you look at a lot of booths, and there's a lot of booths that look the same. A lot of booths are trying to tell you everything they do on a banner or on a video wall. And, for us, it's like, we just want something that's going to stand out. And I think people forget differentiation is about being different. And you really have to think about that. You're not going to get that from looking at data. You're not going to get that from looking at what's been done. We're trying to create and shape the future of how marketers are going to market. And just with our brand, we're trying to do something nobody's done before. And so we think about that really intentionally. And I think it takes a lot of guts to like go for it. Like, you're not remembered for the safe ideas ever. And you're not going to break through on this floor if you're playing it safe. And so again, we've built a lot of trust with our team, and we've had some great success, and that's where it starts. But I can't do this stuff without a great product behind me too, right? Our team has an incredible product, and that really works. And that's what matters. And then we have an incredible team that supports that product and builds that product, incredible sales team and customer success team. So all of this falls down if you don't have an incredible team and an incredible product.
What do you think about differentiation if I just move the words in a different order? Or just take the same words and move them.
Just put the word agentic in, okay? And then
that was my bet. That was my bet coming in.
Not do that. I'm so
like it's going to be agentic. That's the
Yeah.
thing we're going to see.
Yeah, and I think we feel that fatigue, right? We have that fatigue. You're on LinkedIn. We see that word. We see all that, and we're tired of it, right? Even the marketers, right? And all of us, we're like exhausted by the AI and agentic. And so for us, it's like, well, let's just not put that on the screen. Let's not put any of that in the booth. Like, let's just entertain. Let's, create some emotional connection with entertainment. Yeah. And I think that's kind of where things are going now. Like, LinkedIn is boring. We know that, right? And it's like, oh, look, the action figure was like, dang, like
there's like it was like, and stand out if like literally
everyone's doing it. And so I think you do have to have, you have to be really paying attention to what culture is doing, and specifically internet culture, what's happening on the internet.
But I like though that your brand is fundamentally cool. Like I appreciate the fact that, you know, I got that really cool sweater from you guys in the holidays, right? So I went to all my stuffy, nosy Ottawa civil servant Christmas parties. And I think it was like kind of the talk of the town every time I walk in the room, because people were like, what is that? Right?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. So I from then on, I was like, okay, cool. Everything you guys do as a brand is like everything I thought was cool as a teenager, but it's mature, it's refined.
Yeah.
So how did you come up and ideate taking a good brand and kind of turn it into a cult brand?
Man, that means a lot. Like building a cult brand is like, you know,
It's like the stuff that marketers dream of.
that's what you want to do, is because I think awareness isn't even enough, right? I think it's the belief. You need that tribal belief and community. I think when you start that movement and you're able to create a cult brand, it means people are believing in what you're doing and they want to be a part of what you're doing. And marketing at the end of the day is about that. It's not about just selling the product. It's about creating something that people want to be a part of. And that's really powerful, right? That's what create a cult is. It's like people want to be a part of something. And that's what community is at the end of the day, is like building something that people want to be a part of and want to belong to.
Real. I mean, I was going to say, even when I wore that sweater out, like non-cyber people were like, I dig that Christmas sweater.
No,
you know?
dude, like tech is lame, Torq is cool. Like straight up.
Tech is lame, Torq is cool. Yeah, no, I like that. I'm using that tagline.
So my other question is, so all the seed startups, all the Series A who look at this and it's like, yeah, that's cool in the gang, but like we don't have those resources. Torq was at one point a Series A. So what is your advice? We always talk about the brass tacks. I'm like, what would be your advice to your fellow marketers on like, how do you scale branding? Like, where can you start? And then like, how do you build from there to, you know, if you got a good product and you get the Series C, D, then you can bring this stuff in.
It's a great question. And like, it's gone so fast. I think this marketing team's been here, and our CRO and his team have been here for like 2 years. And it's wild to look back. Like we were in a 10 by 10 not long ago here at RSA, right?
Well, I remember the first store is dead, like tiny booth.
Yeah. And yeah, like a demo station, right?
Yeah.
So I think a thing that we really work on, I think has got us here, is we work closely with our sales team, and we want to build something that is a reflection of the DNA of the company. And when you take a big swing, when you make a big bet, it can't just be your bet. Okay. You got to have everybody in on it, right? This isn't just marketing thinking that this is going to work or be cool. This is our sales team. Like when we announced this, we did it at SKO. And we didn't necessarily jump through all the right hoops and get, you know, approval with our CFO the way we probably should have, but we got everybody excited. And then by that time, it's like, you can't say no to this, right? Like we need this budget to go do this monster truck, because look at sales. These guys are motivated. Like they're going to go sell now. And so for the seed company, for the seed startups, I'd say work with your sales team and build something you are all proud of, right? And that you guys are all excited about, because that's when the real momentum starts. Is like, it's not just marketing's brand, it's everybody's
sales
brand.
are so
You got to be, you know, I'm joined at the hip with my partner in crime, Josh, our CRO. Like, and when he found out we were doing this, he was like one of the first ones. You know, we were very secretive, highly secretive marketing department, but he texted me gifts all night long of Gravedigger. And I was like, this is going to be a hit. Like, Josh is in. If you can get your sales guys in and your sales ladies in on the plan, right? If you can get them in on the conspiracy of what you're going to pull off, that's magic, right? And I think like, that's what I would tell the early stage, is like, build something that, you know, the whole team's going to love, and you got to work with them on that. This isn't just marketing.
Yeah. Cause everybody's back to what you were saying about like, get people excited
internally.
Because like, you know, RSA is also like a noisy time for press releases, funding and stuff like that. It's like, sometimes the press release just goes out and like half the company is like, oh, we heard about that on the all hands, but it's like it's like if we were trying to launch the confetti cannon, it's just like
dude, if you can't get your internal employees excited about what you're doing, you're never going to get your prospects and customers excited. Your internal team, especially sales, they have to feel it, because they're out on the front lines talking to customers and prospects. And you can tell when a sales team is excited, the customer can feel it. There's like a magnetism when a company has that juice, that energy, because they believe in what you're doing. And I think this is as much for our internal team, this grave digger, as it is for the prospects or customers. I just want to make something that our team loves, because then they're going to have that belief, and that's going to be felt by the customer.
Yeah, I feel it too. Like when, we're watching, you can't see here in this shot, everyone that's walking by is turning their head, looking at this thing. It is eye-catching. It's not the typical boring F1 car or weird Tom Cruise dress up lookalike dude from last year. Like, what I really like about it is, I say gaff factor, like give a freak something else, but your gaff factor is huge, right? Yeah. I have to ask you, because you're like me or a fellow C-suite, you have to ask permission from your board to get funding for like anything, even though it's like, this is a brilliant idea. And board's going to look at you and be like, what's the ROI? Which is like, as a CISO, the worst bullshit conversation I hate to have is like, how do I quantify risk that I'm trying to prevent that hasn't happened yet? Right? I'm playing in theory. Sure. You're doing the same thing. So how do you, advice for marketers, how do you then go to your board and get the green light for doing good brand ideas versus strict ROI?
In my case, which won't be the case for everybody, the discussion around the playbook of what we would roll out here at Torq started very early, even before I accepted the role, because I really did want to build a brand first. So my belief is brand leads to demand, right? I think a lot of people make buying decisions based on brand, I think more than anybody knows in this space. Yeah. And I think Wiz is a great case study on that. They built a phenomenal brand. They have a great product, but they have a phenomenal brand, and they've done things differently for a long time. For me, coming here, it was very much my goal to build a consumer style brand. I think that this space was ready for it. Yeah. And I got that sign off very early that we were not going to do a bunch of white papers. We're not going to do, the enterprise B2B play.
Syndicate randomly.
Exactly.
I ignore in my inbox. Yeah, go on.
Yeah. We didn't want to go down that path just because we knew it wouldn't work. And we wanted to try new things. And I think I give a lot of credit to our CEO and his co-founders, Ofer, Leonid, Eldad, because they bought in right away. And when they buy in, you don't have to do a lot of selling to the board, because your CEO has already briefed them. And shout out to the board and all the money. But they also see, right, when the sales numbers are good, right, when pipeline's flowing, when you're getting earned media coverage, when they can feel it. The board knows, right? They're very tapped into this stuff, and they're excited. Like, I saw board members last night. Trevor met with board members, gave them the autograph picture, and they love it too. I mean, I think people, everybody at the end of the day, we're all human, right? And they want to feel a part of it too. And I think if you do this right, your board is excited because they're part of it, right? And they're like, oh, I'm with Torq, I'm an investor in Torq. They're proud. Yeah. And they're following us, they're following on LinkedIn, right? And they see it and they're like, this is fun. I think people, I think there's fatigue.
Yeah. For all the, medic sales methodologies and playbooks, there is that in terms of process and discipline, but you also forget, you say it all the time, and he's the buyer, right? Sales is still a vibe. If I don't trust you, he's not going to give you data in your platform. And part of that vibe might also be just like excitement.
But I think you also said something really important too for board members of other organizations that are potentially listening to this. As a board member, be engaged, be bought in. I can't tell you the amount of organizations I've worked for or worked with where there's people on the board, and they seem to cause like luminous fear like Darth Vader, but they never show up. They're never around. So why should anyone care about them?
It's a good point. And we have a very, very active board who are adding value. And that's not always the case, right? You show up once a quarter, you see them on you see them on a little square, you run through your numbers.
Give me my EBITDA.
Yeah. And hey, these guys, they're, these boards are smart, man. They got their magic numbers. But I think they can feel it. If the CRO is excited, if the CEO is excited, and the numbers are good, they're stoked, right? And they're a part of it. And we've had, an incredible support from this, and it's only gotten better. And as it's worked and as we've earned more trust, but yeah, they want to be a part of it just like anybody else.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Don, thanks for the time. Thanks for
having me.
It's been a blast.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.